Hi, I'm Faraz Khan from iTrack Recruitment, and welcome to the Low Code Podcast, where we're dedicated to increasing awareness and appreciation of the power of low code. In this podcast, we'll hear from developers about their career journeys and how low code has enabled them to achieve new levels of success and innovation. So let's go. Hi Nuno, how are you?
Hello, all good, and you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to take part in the podcast.
My pleasure. So it's really a pleasure.
Great, it's great to have you, and I think it'd be good to start with you giving a bit of a introduction to yourself. Who you are, where you're from.
Yeah. So my name is Nuno. I'm here in Lisbon, Portugal, working for IT for on IT environments for around 20 years. So
Long
quite
time. Yeah,
a long time.
yeah,
Yeah, but mainly working lately the last years with low code,
yeah.
Mendix, by the way. So
Mm.
yeah, but I can also give you the a quick brief of context about where everything started. So
Yes, yeah. So it'd be great to know kind of where your journey started and how it's kind of got to where it is today.
yeah, okay. So as it's not normal, but my background education is design. I'm a graphic designer,
Ah,
so I degree in graphic design and I start working as a designer. So my first years were dedicated to design, but I had this passion to programming, and
mhm.
slowly I made this transition from design to programming. Slowly, it was let's say a slow process,
Yeah,
but it happened. So I started working as a designer. Then slowly I moved to another company where they had the need to have a designer and a programmer at the same time. So it was the same.
perfect. Yeah,
So it was really good for me. And then lately I moved to Siemens as a programmer, as a SharePoint,
mhm.
.NET, C Sharp
Yep.
programmer. So, and then in Siemens, yes, I had the chance to know Mendix,
Yeah,
and now I'm working here with Bool, um, dedicating my time to low codes and
yeah.
to Mendix. So a quick
Amazing, amazing.
uh,
Yeah, overview. Yeah. So going back to obviously, yeah, you started in design. When you were kind of you said you always had an interest in programming, and you obviously went on to the SharePoint .NET side of things. As a designer, when you were interested in programming, was that the kind of technology like .NET? Is that the way you wanted to go, or had you played around with a few different, and you kind of then chose which one?
I start with some friends with PHP, okay,
Okay.
but then where I was working, there was this programmer, a friend,
Mhm.
and that was a .NET developer, and he
Yeah.
was, let's say, the responsible to give me this passion
Mhm.
about this programming side. So it was really amazing for me to see how to build, let's say, what
Mm.
is behind the
Yeah.
website, because I was working mainly on the multimedia side.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was really good to understand how can you transform some kind of code to
Mm.
some kind of features, and for me it was really amazing. And I started slowly um, on my, let's say, after work I was investigating, I was working on it. I
Mm.
had also some projects that I had the need to ask some help to those
Yeah. Yeah.
friends, okay, because I was, but anyway, the process was running, and here I am.
Yeah.
So but was really, for me, was really good to see how you can transform some code to some features, and
Mm. Mm.
it's amazing. And then on top you can put a layer of layout,
Yeah.
colors and things, and that was my thing at the time. So it was really amazing to combine everything
Yeah.
and in the end to present, let's say, a functionality to your users to say,
Yeah.
okay, here it is what you ask.
Showcase your
And
work.
for me, this is,
Yeah.
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 So for me, this is in the end, it's really to see how users can use what you just built and
Mhm.
to see the result is it's really amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And obviously, you like you said, you kind of then went on to low code and Mendix. So the key question I kind of had for you was, you're from Portugal, you're in Portugal,
Yeah.
home of out systems, why Mendix? How did it kind of, come across? How did it kind of fall in front of you? Was it something you'd heard of, or was it a choice, or how's that happened?
It was a really simple, so it was not
Okay.
a hard decision. So when I was working in Siemens and in my past, I already had some experience with alt systems. Okay,
Okay.
not much, but I
Mm,
already had something. I had worked a little bit,
mm.
and I had a lot of friends working with alt
Yeah, I could
systems. So
imagine. Yeah.
I had a little bit of this alt systems context. Then in
Mm,
Siemens, there was this need to find someone that could also take these mandates
yeah.
and to start producing. And in Portugal, we really had a team here
Mm,
dedicated to mandates. And at that time, I think was for me was a easy choice.
mm.
So there was a need for someone to take the Mendix project. To be honest, at the moment, I didn't know nothing about Mendix.
Yeah. Okay.
And always the question is, oh, can really Mendix be a, let's say, a good technology? Can it
Mm,
does this? Can it does that? And at the moment, I was not really sure.
mm,
But was an easy decision for me. So
mm.
I had the OutSystems background a little bit, not
Yeah. Yeah.
much, and this was also a decision point
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me to go for that
Yes, good to
direction.
know because
So
it's always interesting. Obviously, when I heard that, when I heard of you, I just thought, oh, a Mendix MVP in Portugal. How's that happened? So it's interesting to hear. And when you, like you said, you didn't know anything about obviously Mendix.
no,
When you kind of started working with it, how was the transition for you? Like, how did you find that transition? Because obviously, the message for low code is for traditional developers who are experienced. It's an easy transition. That's the message that tends to be, shared. Do you think that was an easy process for you, or was it challenging? Or
was an easy process. I can
mm,
say I think it's just a mindset. Okay, if
yeah,
you have the OutSystems mindset and if you want to start working with Mendix, is a different mindset.
mm,
But it's exactly the same if you are a .NET programmer and you
mm,
start working with OutSystems or Mendix,
mm,
so just a local. Then you need first to switch your mindset,
yeah,
and there is a different mindset. And as soon as you understand this new mindset, everything will is going to be fluid and easy. But if you are fighting against that mindset, and if you have already one specific mindset, so this is
yeah,
how I do things, this is how I develop my application, then it's really easy. So
mm,
sometimes it's even easier to, let's say, to train someone that has any background, IT background,
mm,
than some programmers that already has this fixed mindset
yeah,
and they always are saying, oh, I don't like low code because I don't control my code. I
yeah.
need to have access to the code and I want to control my code. It's a mindset. It's
Yeah,
just a
I
mindset.
guess
So
they already come when they've kind of studied. They're already coming with an opinion. Where obviously, if you got someone fresh, they're a sponge and just willing to listen to whatever you tell them, isn't it?
exactly,
Yeah, yeah, I
it's
can imagine.
exactly as that. Because the first thing for a programmer, a
Mm,
traditional programmer,
mm,
when this is my experience, as soon
mm.
as they have experience with a low code platform, they will always say the same. Oh, this is too restrict.
Yeah,
This I cannot do nothing with this. But they are completely wrong.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but it's just a mindset, and as soon as
yeah,
this mindset change, okay, everything will
yeah,
be completely different. It's
yeah,
a new
yeah.
world that just
Yeah, I think it's definitely here to stay, and there's no getting rid of low code, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
Siemens, obviously, you went into Mendix, and then you were a tech lead, and then moved into kind of architect role. What was your role within Siemens on the Mendix side?
So at the beginning, I started as a lead. So we were the first ones to have a Mendix dedicated team to develop applications. Okay. And I was a little bit responsible for some of those projects. So as a
Hmm.
lead,
Hmm.
um, and we had some people also onboarded. So we enabled a Mendix team here that nowadays all of them are completely working with Mendix and
Yeah, yeah,
completely happy with it. Some of
yeah.
them are already experts, advanced, so
Hmm.
really good
Hmm.
developers. But at the beginning was just to prepare a team to develop applications,
Hmm.
not for Portugal, obviously, because we are talking about a big
Yeah.
company,
Hmm.
but mainly to Germany, US, and other countries.
Hmm.
And after some years, I took the role to become a solution architect. Okay. And at that time, I was also responsible for some of the architecture, managing also some teams, but more,
Hmm.
let's say, as a advanced or an expert in some specific points that the developers couldn't do it, or
Yeah,
some things like that. Um, so
yeah. Okay.
around that.
And when you were kind of working at Siemens, and obviously you're in Mendix, were you kind of, because you started with Mendix around, is it 2019, 2019-ish? Yeah. And at the time, did you kind of consider, some people obviously when they start a new technology, they think, okay, they do some research around, okay, what's my future opportunities going to look like with this technology? Is that something you did and kind of researched before you kind of, or you just went for it and thought, you know what, I'll do it and we'll deal with it later?
To be honest, I just went straight forward. Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't think much, but to be honest, and looking back, it
Mm.
was the complete right decision.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
as much I'm working with Mendix, the more I want to be here. So
Yeah,
it's really, I think I'm really on the right way. Okay,
yeah,
I'm really where I want it to be. So, and as much I know Mendix, as much I enjoy to work with Mendix. So but the choice was really really
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and to be honest, after these years, it was the right choice, and I continue every day to be happy to take that decision. So
yeah, yeah. That's great. It's good that you're definitely happy with the choice you've made.
a lot, a lot.
So then you obviously moved on to Bool from Siemens. How did that kind of, because I've heard of Bool and I know Bool as more of an outsystems company. So how did that kind of come across? I'm guessing obviously, you're the head of Mendix there as an architect. So kind of what does that entail?
So the thing is that there's what I saw at that time, I identified that there is a lack of developers on the market. So I think
Mhm.
this is global, but mainly in Portugal, and we had already some developers, some good experience, some expertise, and I thought that there was the time to also start filling up that gap on the market to
Mhm.
bring a new technology here to the market. Okay. Again, this is a OutSystems country. I
Yes.
hope that it can turn a little bit, and in the
Mm.
end, I think there's space for everyone.
Mm.
But what I'm trying to do is also to bring to the market a new technology, a local
Yeah.
technology, a robust technology. And
Mm.
to be honest, I don't want to let's say just to say to or to compete to all systems. In the end, yes, there
Yeah.
is a competition, but everyone has their own space. And
Yes.
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do is really to bring Mendix to the market, is also bringing Mendix to the Portuguese market, to the
Mm.
Iberian market, so to the
Mm.
European market. I think in Europe, Mendix has a very good
Yep.
footprint. In Portugal, there's obviously a way that needs to be done.
Yep.
I will do it. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And is that kind of Bool's kind of vision that obviously they've got an out systems practice and they obviously like you said, there is space for everybody. So obviously they've brought you in to kind of drive the Mendix space, and so your obviously role is you're building a team, you're training people. Are you training
yeah.
more kind of experienced developers or graduates, or what's the kind of program you're doing there?
At the moment, and so Bool is a company that is part of a bigger group, and on that
Yes.
group we have a very good and known academy here in
Is that
Portugal. Okay,
Academy? I've heard of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Code Academy.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
so basically we are reskilling people from other areas to
Mm,
IT. So there is a
nice.
boot camp. Okay,
Mm,
and mainly what I've been doing this time in this year and a half in Bull is really to pick up those talents that just
mm,
are getting from this academy. Okay, I'm
mm,
training them, and this is basically what I'm training. So obviously we
mm.
have offers to train companies with
Yes.
higher programming skills, but at
Mm,
the moment in Bull, yes, I'm just picking those people, those talents that are just coming from this academy,
mm,
and we are giving intensive training, a medics
mm, mm.
training, and yeah.
And
So
on the kind of client side, obviously, you're building this Mendix team in Portugal. Um, when you're kind of going to customers in Portugal, because obviously I'd say most of them would have probably heard of our systems. How are you finding that like challenge? Is are you kind of focused on global delivery, or are you guys kind of focused on Portuguese, or what's the kind of
um,
direction?
at the moment, to be honest, we are going more globally than
Yep.
just specific here in Portugal.
Mhm.
So obviously we have all eyes open. So we are
Mm.
looking to Portugal. We are also looking to Spain, but also Europe, also
Yeah.
US,
Hmm.
Asia. So and the thing is that we are building up this team, and more, from my opinion, the nearshore concept is
Yes.
always
It's a
a
big
good.
a lot of companies are kind of offering this now, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And to be honest, I think we have a privileged location here in
Mm,
Portugal.
mm,
So we have everything
mm,
to have a success project, and we are investing on it.
yeah.
So we are looking for Portugal,
Mm,
but more
yeah.
globally
Yeah.
than just to
I'd say
focus.
it's quite for you kind of, you get a good sense of fulfillment because obviously you're going against the grain of the country of, kind of so when you're kind of converting these developers and doing the project, it's quite, interesting to see and nice to hear as well.
Yeah, but again, I'm not fighting against nothing.
Mm,
So
yeah, of
even the
course. Yeah.
developers that I have on my team, they are completely happy
Yeah.
working with
Yeah.
Mendix.
Yeah.
So they are not, they say, oh, I could choose OutSystems
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
much
Yeah. Yeah.
better for me.
Yeah.
No, they are all of them completely happy. They really believe also on the technology. Every day, again, they are more and more happy to work with
Yeah.
this specific technology,
Mm.
and basically that's it. So it's not really just going for a war and
Yeah, of course.
to
Yeah. 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 They're definitely
so
on board, and obviously they can see what you've seen in the technology earlier in your career. And going to obviously, back kind of to you. So you've got the MVP badge not long ago, for
yeah,
Mendix.
correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did that come across? What kind of made Mendix recognize you? Because usually the MVP program's about kind of the person giving back and things like that. So what was your kind of reason for being nominated as an MVP?
I think it was also, let's say, a natural process. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've been, let's say, spreading the Mendix word for a lot of
Mm.
years. So it
Yeah.
was just not 2 months or 3 months ago that
Mm.
I started to spread
Yeah, of course.
this Mendix word. So I did already a lot of workshops in companies. I did already a lot of events. I did a lot of things already for the community. Okay,
Mm.
but not as part or not as an MVP. I just did it because I think everyone needs to understand
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
what Mendix is. So and yeah, it was a really natural process. So I applied to this program. We are at the moment, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 48 MVPs
Nice.
globally. So
Yeah.
I'm one of the lucky
Yes.
one.
Yes.
And obviously there is a lot of work to do in these areas. So the
Mm.
Portuguese community needs also to grow. We have a good
Mm.
community in
Mm.
Portugal, not just Portugal, but also on the Iberia side. So
Yeah.
Spain is also a country that needs to grow
Sure.
in terms of low codes.
Mm.
And this MVP program for me is more and more to give to the community, to talk about Mendix, to spread the word, to even to for people that are not really sure what Mendix is, what
Mm.
capables that
Mm.
for me, it's really good to have these kind of conversations about
Mm.
technologies and to talk about Mendix because
Yeah.
again, it's what I can talk better, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's clearly one of your passions that you enjoy to talk about and obviously share your knowledge, which is obviously what MVP should, that's how you should be recognized because you're willing to put in the time to help others and create awareness for the platform, which is great.
Right, correct. And I will invest my time for it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And in the time that you've been using Mendex now, obviously there's always releases of certain features. It's forever evolving and moving with the times. Or what would you say is some of the kind of key features that they've done along the way that you've thought have been really game changing, really kind of wow, this is amazing.
One thing that I was saying that I'm every day more and more happy. And one
Mm,
of the things is that Mendix is also always surprising us with new features, new uh,
mm,
integrations, new. So we just Mendix just released this 10 version. Okay, we have a
yes.
lot of new features
Mm,
on the way. AI. So
yeah, yeah.
AI is something that we will move, and nowadays everyone is talking about
That seems
AI
to be the
and what
buzzword,
will happen.
buzzword, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So what will happen with low code with AI?
Yeah,
Oh, low
yeah.
code will just end. Traditional code
Mm,
will end. No
mm,
one knows. But
mm,
anyway, I think that the normal process is these technologies also to evolve and
mm,
to be more and more part of these, let's say, new technologies on the market, and
mm,
Mendix is already bringing everything. So the last last year we had a workflow native engine. Okay,
mm,
it was a really good feature for our technology. So now we can integrate with Git for our source control. We were already integrated with Subversion, now
yeah.
Git. So there are always some little or not so little, but little things that are coming to the platform, let's say
Mm,
every month, every
mm,
not week, but and
yeah.
and those are really good. So now just saying, so from the AI perspective, we
Yeah.
have already machine learning
Yeah.
code that you can run inside your application. So it's not something that is running on a different container, but it's really run on your application, which will give you some advantages, some performance. And there are always something that Mendix are giving us as a platform that for us as a developer or a solution
Yeah.
architect is always really good. Now we also have the saying business events. Okay,
Mm,
business events is something that is again a new thing on the. We could already have it, but the implementation was not simple.
yeah.
So Mendix is always bringing us new things as a low code interface. So if you want to use business events, a broker, okay, you can use it with the low code platform. And this is exactly what I love about Mendix is it's always giving us
Yeah.
what the market is also with what the market is trying also to implement. So
Mhm. Staying
and
relevant.
just
Yeah.
saying yeah, and just also saying the architecture itself from the
Mhm.
Mendix side, a native a cloud native architecture is something really good nowadays. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just for you to deploy an application to a container, it's really, really
Yeah.
good. So always new features.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could
Yeah, I
say
guess they've
three
got
or
the
four, but
major ones. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they've always got the major releases and then the smaller ones, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But even on the smaller ones, there are some things that are really um, good, like was before the workflow native engine.
Mm.
And I'm sure AI will be more and more one of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
next.
Future. Yeah, yeah, of course. And in regards to obviously features, is there anything, as a tech person of 20 odd years, and with the technology forever kind of evolving, is there anything that you'd like to see, happen in the future with the platform that isn't there already?
At the moment, I think AI is what I can
Yeah,
say.
that's the
So,
one. Yeah.
as I said, no one knows what will be tomorrow. So
Yeah.
no one knows what AI will bring us. But anyway, now everyone is investing in AI, and I have also some expectations to understand from the
Mhm,
AI perspective what Mendix will start to bring on our application. So
mhm.
again, no one knows what's going to be tomorrow,
Yeah,
but
of course.
I guess AI more and more is something that will be here,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
it just came to stay. So
Yeah, yeah, I think it's definitely to stay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And on the kind of customer side, is there kind of any interesting project you can tell us about that you've worked on that you thought was, really interesting? Obviously Mendix, platform really kind of gave them what they were looking for.
well, to be honest, I've worked on a lot of
Yeah.
interest projects. But I can refer some of them, and was
Mm-hmm.
especially with the COVID times. So when
Mm-hmm.
we have the COVID, and at the moment I was in Siemens
Yep.
leading this team, and there was this need to start developing and deploying applications fast because the time was really urgent times. Okay, and we have had some processes and some things that we had to handle with the COVID, and we couldn't wait, let's say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks to deploy an application to
Yep.
manage something. Okay, and what I can say is it's from the first day with COVID, and we start to develop applications so fast, and let's say even some small application, now I'm really saying small
Mm.
applications, we could even deploy it before 1 week. So we really was on a high speed to implement applications and to help some process. It was really critical for the company to manage. And I can say Mendix at that time made a big difference
Yeah.
on the development landscape because we had in-house .NET developers, Java developers, a lot of other
Yeah.
technologies, but Mendix was really the key to
Mm.
make the difference. And in 1 week, in 2 weeks, we had two applications. In 3 weeks, we had three applications, and it was really uh, a big difference, and it was a big impact on the organization. So I could also talk about a lot of other projects,
Yeah.
but I will just highlight. So when there
Mm.
was this criticality to, let's say, have applications live, we did it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's really
It
interesting.
was
And would you say because of COVID, it kind of gave um low code a bit more, the need of low code kind of stand out a bit more?
also a little bit, yes, I would
Yeah,
say yes. So the COVID, and I think the COVID was a really bad time for everyone,
yeah,
but it was also a time that bring a lot of good things for
yeah,
everyone.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
don't don't judge me badly, but
yeah,
let's say the home office today, so
yeah, yeah,
everyone now can work remotely, and
yeah,
they
yeah,
can they can
yeah,
say it was COVID.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Again, Mendix at that time in Siemens also took a very important role on the technology side, and a lot of people that were doubting about what were the capabilities at that time, they
Mm,
could really see the 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 benefits to
yeah,
have a technology that could just bring poof, poof, and popping up
fast. Yeah,
applications
yeah, 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 yeah.
and fast. And let me just say, because sometimes it's really easy to build up these quick applications, but
Mm,
then it's really also fast for you to get to a point where you have no scalability, no performance, no security. But I'm not talking about that. So I'm talking about applications that started in 1 week,
yeah,
and after 1 year they were still in production, still managing processes, still working with a very good performance, very good security, and so was not just that application or a
yeah,
simple form that you can fill something and
yeah,
just
yeah,
submit, and you will receive an email saying,
yeah,
oh, you receive an.
yeah.
So it was not applications as simple as that. So
Mm. And I think, yeah, like you said, I think with the COVID, I think it obviously showed that obviously projects can be delivered from anywhere, and obviously I think low code gained lots of traction in that time because there was a need for, I think when it first happened, people didn't know how to deal with it. But I think slowly, us being a recruitment company, we saw kind of when it first started, things kind of dropped. And then once everyone got used to it and realized all these things can be done from home, people can deliver
yeah,
from home, people can start, another thing that's more common now is people working for companies not in the same country they live in. Very, it's really opened that up as well. So it's really kind of and us watching the low code side, we saw a lot of customers kind of drive their, where traditional roles may have been kind of still hiring, but the hiring on the low code side really went up because there's a lot of companies investing in it and thinking, okay, well, we need things done fast, so we need to get these developers who can help us deliver it fast.
correct, correct, correct. And if you can compare the speed of a traditional development and low code, it's just crazy. So
Yeah.
I completely believe that low code is going to be more and more um, uh, uh, um, implemented in the market,
Mm.
obviously. Obviously, traditional code will not end, so that's not the
Yes.
point. So
Yeah.
it's not again, oh, we from our low code side we will kill the traditional code. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
point. But low code is, I believe that is continue to grow and grow and grow because it's crazy what we can do today with a low code platform. And nowadays these low code platforms, as I was saying, Mendix is always evolving to new features. And if you think about something crazy, oh, can Mendix do this? If you search a little bit, the answer is probably yes, it can.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can. Oh, you have on the market something to integrate with that? Oh, that's yeah, and the answer is almost always yes, you can.
Yeah, yeah. And if they can't, it's probably in the pipeline to be done, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah,
And on the, one thing I like to ask, or I guess I think you may come across a lot being someone who's obviously training people and kind of, getting people to come on board. And there are people, like you say, who are not for low code. What's your kind of message to people who are kind of against low code, not convinced of low code? You know, you may have had these conversations in the past, but what would be your kind of message to those kind of people?
I would just say, just try it, give it a
Yeah.
chance. So, and again, you need to see these local platforms with a different mindset. So if you came to this, if you want to give a try with Mendix or OutSystems, but you
Mm.
have a different mindset, yes, you will not see it. So just be open minds, check these technologies, try to understand how they think. In the end, they can do everything. So this is always the question
Yeah.
from a traditional programmer, which they say always, "Oh, I cannot do nothing because I'm not controlling my code."
Yeah.
You don't need to control the code to do everything. So in the end, yes, these kind of platforms can do everything. Okay, exactly. So anything. So just give it a try. Open mind, try it, and you
Yeah.
will see a big difference. And again, the so the market is from my again opinion is saying that low code is here to stay and it
Mm.
is here to grow and it's going to be more and more implemented in the future for sure. So this doesn't mean that the traditional code will end. So
Exactly. Yeah.
there is space for everyone, but low code is here to stay and is here to also to grow. So
Yeah. And you can see more and more large companies purchasing low code platforms, well-known brands that are using low code. So they're not silly to just go and invest in obviously every company will look into something in a lot of detail before investing the sums of money it costs to kind of invest. So it's definitely
more and more.
here more and more, and I think that alone should convince developers or want to be developers to consider it.
If you see the Siemens example, okay, and
Yes.
Siemens is not a small
Yeah,
company,
of course.
so
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's a big company, okay, and if you can just understand that in let's say 4 years or something like that, okay, so right now there is 240,000 users using daily Mendix
Wow.
applications. If
Yeah.
you think about that, in these 3 or 4 years, more than 500 applications were deployed to production. If you think about that internally, just in Siemens, there is more than 2,000
Yeah, wow.
certified developers. So you will see that a big company would not invest so much on a
Mm.
technology that
Yeah,
they didn't believe.
of
So
course. Yeah, yeah.
in the end, you can see and you can take this example to other companies, and there is a lot of other big companies do is exactly the same process. And you know what? They have been having a lot of success. So, and Siemens is a big success. So,
Yeah.
obviously, Mendix now is a Siemens technology or
Yes.
sold as a Siemens technology, but there is really a belief in the product, in the technology, and is a very good example
Yeah,
on
yeah.
how this was implemented on a big
Mm.
company. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And just the kind of final question, obviously, you've got to kind of this role at Bool and with Mendix and stuff. And you're now an MVP. What's your kind of, any future aspirations or, goals that you set yourself for the future?
Well, as I also just said, so I want to fulfill this gap on the market. So I want to bring more and more this Mendix awareness in Portugal. I really want to grow the community here in Portugal. Portugal, and when I say Portugal,
Yeah.
maybe also on the Iberia state.
Yeah.
Um, I want to build up, let's say, a unique and export hub here in Portugal to support projects
Yes.
globally. Okay. And I will say also a little bit of AI. That is
Yeah, of
something
course.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
let's see, because I'm also looking for it. Everyone are
Mm.
investing on it. But I would say mainly. grow the community in Portugal. We have a big community, and also I wanted to create here an export hub in
Yeah,
Portugal that can support globally with export services projects around the world. So
that's great.
let's see
Yeah, I look
where
forward to
the
following you.
future.
Yeah, 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 of course. Yeah, and the fact that you're kind of trying to grow it, and there are people willing to kind of learn Mendix, and I think Mendix itself is in Europe, it's a very strong player. So even though our systems might be kind of Portuguese, I think people can see that Mendix is, also a very good platform. And it's good that you're kind of, one of the ambassadors of help growing it in the region. So I look forward to seeing it grow, and maybe we speak again in the future and see how far it's gone. But I
Let's keep
really,
in contact.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. It was really great to talk to you, hear about your journey, and how you got to where you are, and what that you're kind of willing to give back and grow really obviously shows that you're passionate, because obviously people get busy, they doing their job alone, doing other things on top of that is not easy to do. So you must be really passionate about it to be willing to put in the extra time and help grow that community.
I was, yeah. Also from my side, it was really a pleasure,
Amazing.
and let's keep in touch. Let's talk in the future about
Yes, definitely.
where this
Yeah,
path will
it'd be
take
really
me.
keen to hear.
But
Yeah,
was really a pleasure for me. So thank you
amazing.
for that, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thanks, Nuno.
Okay, thank you, thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.